Sorry, King Charles III, Prince of Wales William. Who the fuck do you think you are? So 1 week ago, we've had William all over the TV talking about ending homelessness, or let's all work together to defeat homelessness. This week, we find out he's charging charities, the NHS, the Ministry of Defence, schools, councils, rent, and making millions of pounds. Fucking hell, it's not the 1400s. What the fuck? Because the way these duchies are set up, they don't pay corporation tax. They make millions of pounds worth of profit and pay zero tax on it. Excuse me, where the fuck is Robin Hood when you need him? Like, it's one thing if you were charging businesses, but charging other government departments, schools, councils, the NHS to park ambulances in a warehouse when they're not in use. Where are your morals gone? Your morals have proceeded like your fucking hairline, William. I mean, seriously, take the money, go to Turkey, get that sorted out. If you're going to, live the life of a mafia gangster, at least have the looks to go with it. Do you know what I mean? And yet we spent years attacking Harry and Meghan for earning their money privately. Like... Fucking hypocrites. Honestly, enough's enough. That's it. Not my king. Fucking get rid of all of them.
Hi everyone, happy Friday. I hope you are all doing well. Hope we've all had a couple of days to digest the ridiculousness of what has happened this week over in the US, but it's okay. We will carry on. We'll just carry on, and the way we did the last time, we had 4 years of this. Got through it the first time, we'll get through it the second time. Oi. Seriously though, I do hope everyone is doing okay. And I thought we'd start the podcast with a bit of a laugh. I am most definitely getting demonetized for that because of the amount of swearing, but it was worth it. It was worth it. It's fine. Oh gosh. Let's see who's in the chat. Hey Janice. Hey Resistors. Hey Maya. Hi Tamiko. Dakiva. Hi Jane Kamawata. All right. First things first. Yeah, let's get to it, shall we? This nonsense. Shout out to The Guardian for this headline. This is a notification that we got. Donald Trump defeats Kamala Harris to become first convicted criminal to be elected US president. Simpsons got it wrong, unfortunately, this time. And, I think that I actually just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I think my lack of words probably just speaks for itself. I saw this come up on my Twitter feed, watching Donald Trump and Elon Musk, two men who together have 17 children and 6 different women, preach about traditional families. Now imagine that was a woman. Indeed. I grew up in the era of like Bush, that type of conservatism. And not that I would want that either. But one thing that I will say about our previous conservative leaders, both in the US and the UK, is that you never saw the level of outward nastiness and just cruelty and disregard, blatant just rudeness, nastiness, even open perverseness. What I saw at the Trump rally, people like Tucker Carlson, just using overly sexually, perverse terms during speeches, all of that kind of stuff. You never really saw it in the era of Bush and here in the UK in the era of Cameron. And I do think here in the UK, we're slowly going towards this kind of Trumpian type of way of being, particularly on the right side of the aisle. You just never saw it back then. And I think that Trump and his team have deliberately, I think, tried to appeal to just the lowest of the low. I don't even think that they're trying to appeal to the most traditional of conservatives. I think they're just trying to appeal to the lowest of the low. The likes of, Russell Brand and the type of people that support him. Russell Brand, he has a history of sexual abuse allegations. They are investigating him. And here he comes to the USA. Now people like this feel welcome. I'm seeing on my timeline women getting messages from men threatening sexual abuse. I mean, if this is who you're emboldening, then you really got to reflect on what messages that you were pushing during your campaign. Because again, you never saw this type of stuff outwardly, at least, and so boldly in the past, even when you had conservative leaders. This is who the Trump campaign has gone after. Nigel Farage, head of reform here in the UK, he went because apparently what's happening in the US is so much more important than what's happening in your own country when you are a political leader of a party that has 5 MPs. Reform has 5 MPs. So you're meant to be focusing on your party here, not flying all the way over to the States. And yeah, we have our first convicted felon instead of our first female president. This is probably one of the most divisive elections I think I have ever seen anywhere, at any point in modern history. Not just in the US, I mean just in general. Straight up madness. Resistance. Thanks for the laugh. Yeah, I thought let me just open with the laugh because there is nothing about this week that has been laughable. And it was most definitely worth getting demonetized for the level of swearing in that clip. We're going to get into William and his nonsense in a bit, but one thing I will say is that the Channel 4 Dispatches documentary has absolutely done what it was meant to do. And not that I think that anyone's going to go marching down, the mall to Buckingham Palace with signs and, sticks of fiery wood, but I think it has definitely brought a very important conversation into the public consciousness in a way that I haven't seen for a while. So, and that's always the first step, is brought something about the royals that needs to be addressed into the public consciousness. And we have struggled to get that because of the way that the tabloid press here is in the UK. You can't get something into the public consciousness if it's not in the public domain. If you've got a relationship between the monarchy as an institution and the press suppress the real news in favor of bullying Harry and Meghan. Anyway, on to William. Oh, actually, before I do get onto it, I just want to say one last thing to my American friends. Obviously, come January 20th, a lot is going to be happening going forward. But just remember that, politics, it's not just the day that you go to the voting booth. And yes, the administration that is in power dictates a lot, but that doesn't mean that you don't still have a sense of a level of power and continuing to do grassroots activism yourself. So I've seen a lot of what I feel like is kind of like helplessness and hopelessness. It's not all that, and if anything, I feel like this will galvanize a few people who are not that interested or not that engaged. I know that in Delaware and also another state, please do forgive me, but there were 2 Black women who were voted into the US Senate actually for the first time in those states. And there's a couple of states that have approved constitutional amendments to protect or extend abortion rights. So there were some small wins in this very, very massive loss, but the the wins, even if they're small, do matter because they add up, and that's where the grassroots activism should continue even after all of this. All right, that's enough of the US election. Okay, on back to UK soil, or rather, actually, let's go to South African soil first, where William is. William is in South Africa for Earthworm. Now, the US election, it happens at a very specific time every single time. So usually around November. And so William's team would have known this when they were planning Earthworm. Like, they would have known when the US election result was coming. So why they decided to plan this whole trip for this time, I don't know if they're trying to sabotage him or they're just that incompetent, but it has completely and utterly overshadowed Earthworm. Not that it would have been given a lot of attention anyway, but it's just been completely drowned out by the US election. And these pictures that I'm showing you right here with the South African president, this is why William went. He didn't go for anything else. He didn't go really for Earthworm. He didn't go because he cares about the environment. He got there on a private jet. He went for these pictures right here. So he could pretend, he could cosplay being a global statesman. I want to play you a video, and sorry if the audio is a bit off, but I will explain at the end if you don't hear it entirely what was being said, because honestly, I feel like the South African president was quietly throwing him some shade. Like, he also knows that he's just here for a photo op because William is bringing nothing of substance. So let's watch this because it's hilarious.
Very good. These poor people with cameras, they want to shoot you and I. Not so much. No, not so much. I spent most of my time in Victoria. Hi guys. Now laugh at Cape Town.
Handshake, please, Mr. President.
Another handshake. Another handshake. And you did say you'd be coming.
I did. I said I would be here.
And
here I am, 2 years later.
2 years later.
That's good.
Heading out? Relations.
Thank you.
Lamola, and it's one of our key officials, and chief of staff.
The foreign secretary here.
Of course,
You know very well.
Yes, yeah.
Eddie and Patrick is with me.
Hello. Pleased to meet you, sir. Pleased to meet you. So these fellows will want us to stand again. They never get enough of us.
Always want more.
Yes. Should we sit down now?
Last handshake, please, Your Excellencies.
Last handshake, another one.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful.
Okay, if you didn't get any of that audio, basically in almost every single part of that, what the president is saying is, oh, these poor photographers with their cameras, they want to take more photos of us. Oh, more photos? Oh, we have to take more photos. Or should we sit down? Oh, more photos? They still want to take more photos. Like, at every single point, he's just like, this is literally all we came for, right? The photos. It's hilarious. And William is out here talking about Earthworm and saving the environment when 1 in 4 of William's rental homes are among the worst rated for CO2 emissions. As I explained in the last podcast, as of 2020, all homes in the UK now have to meet a certain specification for CO2 emissions. And homes under the portfolio of the duchy, owned by Charles and William, fail. They have the worst F&G ratings for energy efficiency. So they can't even reinvest in the homes that they have to bring them up to standard, the standard that everybody else in the country has to abide by and would get fined if they don't. And then we're finding out about there's mold in the houses and all this other stuff. While William was there were a few hecklers. It wasn't anything major. I think the Not My King folks are probably tired from their trip in Australia. So they didn't follow William, but I don't know, William's not king yet, I guess. But there were a few people, not anything, huge, who did protest William and were very unhappy about the fact that he was there.
William, go! You have no stability here! You are not our king! Get out of here!
Yeah, she was mad. And while we had a few protesters screaming, over on the actual Earthworm red carpet, you had celebrities who were invited, paid to be there, who didn't even know what on earth Earthworm was. Here's Heidi Klum, supermodel Heidi Klum.
Yes. Why you're here, what do you kind of choose?
I have to be honest, I had never heard of this before, and it was really when Prince William's team came to me and asked me if I would want to join and come to South Africa and nominate and be on the stage and spread the word about what this is all about, these amazing organizations and what they do.
She had never heard of Earthworm before William's team contacted her and asked her to nominate and speak on the stage. Even if that was the case, Heidi, she's been in this game for a long time. Usually with these things, to be honest, a lot of the time celebrities are pulled in, they have absolutely no idea what it's about, but they're paid a nice hefty fee. So usually in those situations, when they arrive on the red carpet, they've got a nice little PR script ready to talk about whatever it is they're there for. She can't even be bothered. She couldn't even be bothered to pretend that she knew anything about this. As a supermodel in the game for a decade, she'd be like, yes, I heard about this some time ago. And when Prince William's team contacted me, I was absolutely honored to be part of it and spread the word of this incredible organization that's doing things for the environment. And what an amazing thing it is that we have royals that are taking initiatives and using their platforms and privilege to be able to do things that improve the environment. I literally thought of that like just now in my head. I mean, good on Heidi. She got her money. Didn't even have a PR script ready, but she still got her money and she got her bag. Good on you, Heidi. Oh my gosh. Hilarious. This was on the red carpet. By the way, Billy Porter there on the right. Not too long ago, due to the writer's strike, he had to sell his house. So I really hope William gave him a big old paycheck, and everybody else in this picture too. Hope everybody in this picture got a nice big old paycheck. Shout out to the girl in the yellow dress. It's actually quite a nice dress over there. Even the other lady as well. In the brown glittery dress. All looking very dapper. And hopefully getting paid. Except I hope that's not taxpayer money that's paying these people to come out for Earthworm. And they had to bring all these people out for Earthworm because Kate's at home. I mean, say what you want about Catherine, but she puts on a dress, comes out, and it's all over the papers. And without Kate in her dress, William is struggling with his struggle beard to promote Earthworm. I don't actually know where Earthworm was aired. Does anybody know? I didn't see any adverts for it on the TV, and I don't know if it was streamed live online. I have absolutely no idea. Again, it's been completely and utterly drowned out by the US election. Okay, let me go to your comments and then we'll we will proceed. Rahini said, so he spent more money on the celebs than the actual winners of the offer. I think he probably did, to be honest. Because, you know, there were some actually pretty notable celebrities there. He also did another promo somewhere else with supermodels Winnie Harlow, and there was some other people. So, you know, we're not talking like A list, but people who, you know, people who you would have to pay a pretty penny to show up, you know, international fee. For sure, there's more money being spent on that than anything else. Thank you also, Rahini, for knitting me my socks and my key rings. Y'all, Rahini is the nicest. She just made my day. She messaged me and she sent me this beautiful picture of these cute little socks and key rings that she's knitted me. So thank you so much, Rahini. Rahini, I think you should start an Etsy shop. I would definitely promote it. Light side, whose idea was it to pair that grey jacket with the black pants? I mean, the fashionista next to him is probably a poor, yeah. I mean, Billy Porter just looked at William and said, I would never. I would never. Yeah, I mean, even the guy on the, I don't know who that is, on William's left, he's looking very dapper. Oh dear. And also, People magazine posted this. They said Princess Charlotte had a flood of tears when she saw Prince William's beard for the first time. First of all, I think that for People magazine to even be posting something like this is ridiculous and inappropriate. But I think it shows the desperation of these tabloids. There's just no need to be writing articles like this with children. But since we're here, if they're saying that she was in a flood of tears the first time she saw William with the beard, doesn't she live with William? I feel like these tabloids, they want to say something that they can't say because they know they'd get sued. So they're saying it in other ways. Also, the Dispatches documentary, I don't know what the views are for the TV ratings. I'm yet to actually look that up, but I know on social media they reported over 13 million views just on social media, and of course social media now has more reach than TV. But I'm pretty sure the Dispatches was viewed pretty well. I'll look it up. Especially because it got moved twice, so I think people were even more curious about it. And I would actually say to Channel 4, air it again. Air it again. Because there's a lot of people that probably saw the reports online that didn't see it when it aired. And it might even get more views this time. And then charge double for advertising. Now, because that homeless documentary was raked through the coals, and because the Dispatches caused such a ruckus, all that stress gave poor Camilla a chest infection, apparently, allegedly. I don't believe it. I think this is a lie. I think this is a lie that they came up with just to distract, and this is a useless plot to get sympathy for Camilla. And I say useless because nobody has sympathy for Camilla because she got a chest infection. No one. It's interesting how illness seems to fall on these people every single time they come under the microscope. They come under fire. Claire Zander on Twitter saying, it's a statement from Buckingham Palace about the Queen being ill, confusing people. Not people wondering how the Queen can be sick when she's already dead. Queen Elizabeth really took her monarchy with her. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know, I think that Charles would have still been a very, you know, bleh, meh, I don't care king, regardless. But it would be a lot better for him if he wasn't with Camilla. I think that there are some people who still have some level of respectability for Charles. But once you bring Camilla into the picture, it just all falls apart. Camilla also now fancies herself an advocate for women. She gave this whole speech about domestic violence should not be taboo. Indeed, it shouldn't. But you are most definitely not the type of woman to be speaking on this. As a co-conspirator in the abuse of Diana. I mean, Camilla was there on Diana and Charles's wedding day. She was there. She was there before that, and she was there all the way up until she managed to get Diana out of the way so she could take her place. One of the most extreme examples of destiny swapping I've ever seen. Right, let's go to your comments. Renee, you said, honestly, how long is that beard taken to grow? By now, it should be hanging. I feel like his. Do you think he's trimmed it a couple of times? Do you think he's trimmed it a couple of times? Yeah, I think he's keeping it a bit trim, because surely it would have grown a little bit more, unless he's just struggling to grow the struggle beard. I don't think he's planning on growing it out really, really long. Personally, everyone is trying to be an advocate for women, cosplaying Meghan. Unbelievable. Yeah. Being an advocate for women, but you really don't say anything any other time other than when you want to launch some, new PR drive for yourselves. I mean, it was only a few months ago when the British government declared femicide a national emergency. Never heard Camilla say anything then or before, because actually it should have been declared a national emergency before. Okay, over with the minor royals. I mean, these people can't get anything right. So Sophie went to play crazy golf. She was in Windsor to carry out an official visit as the patron of a charity that's very close to her heart. And she was playing mini golf, and she hit the ball, ricocheted off of wherever she hit it, back onto her face. It bounced back onto her face, and you can see the reaction from this guy. Yeah, we're all this guy right here. Completely shocked they can't get anything right. I mean, just imagine we're paying for these people to go and do events like this, where they just show up to go and play crazy golf. I don't know what charity this was for. One great thing about Harry and Meghan is that when they go and highlight any organization anywhere, the information is given to you. So if you want to go and explore further how to get involved, if you're interested in donating, if you're interested in getting involved, you can go and look it up and follow up yourself. And then we're given an impact report at the end of the year. And Princess Anne apparently does 300 plus whatever engagements a year, and we don't know what the hell she's doing. But they're not really doing anything. They're showing up, they're smiling and waving, playing crazy golf, and then hitting themselves in the face. Yeah, like so you can't make this stuff up. You literally can't make it up. I don't have to. There's always something for me to say. Yeah, the golf ball is a squatty. Just like the floor when Charles tripped up in Kenya. The floorboards were a squatty. Oh my dear. Okay, on to something a little bit more serious. The Archbishop of Canterbury and the Church of England. So this came out today that the most prolific serial abuser to be associated with the Church of England might have been brought to justice had the Archbishop of Canterbury formally reported it to police a decade ago, a review has concluded. A decade ago. And this is the same person who said that Randy Andy, P. Drew, wants to make amends. Welby made the comment about the Duke as he asked public to be more open and forgiving. We should be more open and forgiving to people who destroy the lives of others. Is it any surprise that this person kept quiet for over a decade about abuse? Abuse that could have been stopped. People that could have been saved. At the highest positions of the Church of England. Horrific, embarrassing, unacceptable. And this is the same guy who tried to make Harry and Meghan seem like they were lying when they said that they had private vows the day before their big public royal wedding. I mean, you think for over a decade ago. And I don't believe for a second anybody in the tabloid press or even the government wouldn't have known about this. I find it quite amazing that it's even coming out now. Will there be repercussions for Welby? Probably not. At best, I think he may be asked to step down, or he may even just step down himself. I don't think there'll be any other form of accountability at all. And they'll give him a hefty amount of money to make sure that he doesn't talk about anything else he might know. Some things are just unforgivable, and abuse is one of them. Horrific. But exactly what we expect from these institutions and these people. On a more positive note, people doing good things. Harry. I know that Harry is a supporter of Scottish Little Soldiers, the organisation that helps bereaved families who have loved ones who have been in combat. So he wrote a letter. Dear Scottish Little Soldiers, as we approach Remembrance Day, I want to take a moment to reflect on the profound significance of this occasion and what it means for each of you. The day is a time not only to honour the extraordinary sacrifices made by our service members, but also to recognise the impact these sacrifices have on families, especially ones like yours. He has consistently showed up for Scottish Little Helpers. Scottish Little Soldiers. Been an advocate for them. So give me a sec, folks. I think I'm going to cough. And Harry and Meghan also showed up via virtual video. And it's like a 3-minute video, so I'm not actually going to play it. You can go to my Instagram and watch the full thing. But they appeared virtually on the first day of the inaugural Global Ministerial Conference on Violence Against Children in Colombia. And obviously they visited Colombia in August. And shortly after that, the Archwell Foundation launched the Parents Network to support families whose children have been impacted by traumas related to social media use. They also wore their poppies to commemorate a Remembrance Day also. So it was a very sweet message, and they just spoke about the importance of this issue and why it should be a priority. And I'm sure we'll see a lot more from Archwell and what else came of that trip. It was nice to see them looking so fresh. My goodness. I feel like every time we see Meghan, she just looks even younger. It's wild. But of course, if you have sunshine and love, and joy and good friends, of course you'll look like this. You're not going to look raggedy and stressed. See, when you're not in a one-sided competition with people that aren't thinking about you. Harry and Meghan are living rent-free in other people's minds. No one is living rent-free in theirs. Izzy, you said they are so jealous of Harry and Meghan, so they needed 1 or 2 celebs. They are just there for the check. Exactly. And a lot of these celebrities that they were there, they have no interest well, maybe not an interest, but no direct involvement themselves in any type of climate activism. They're literally just there to draw eyes, which isn't necessarily a bad thing when you're trying to get attention for your organization. It's just the fact that we keep being told that William's a global statesman, and the last time Earthworm was meant to be his Super Bowl moment. So if you alone make it this great big Super Bowl event, then why do you need to bring in celebrities? Yes, Khadija, it's a hopeless and sad family without Harry. The way in which they fumbled the bag when it comes to Meghan, I think that it will be studied in master's degrees in decades to come. Like, the moment they rejected Meghan, and the moment it was made clear that they weren't going to protect her, that was the beginning of the acceleration of the end of the monarchy. Like, it would, I do think that it would have happened, and it's going to happen anyway. But I do think that the way in which they treated Meghan has actually accelerated it. I think if Meghan had never come into the royal fold, it would have still happened, but a lot slower. I think there's a lot of things that people would not have woken up to. Even me, as someone who's grown up in the United Kingdom, one of the things that having Meghan within the fold woke me up to was the way the tabloid press is. I had no real understanding of it, even after Leveson. It's quite remarkable. Also, people have been asking me, what do I think about Harry and Meghan's safety or situation, given that Trump is now president and Trump has said stuff about, Harry and Meghan before, and he's aligned to the Heritage Foundation and organizations like that. Do I think that there will probably be some kind of minor bullying or, things said to grab attention? Maybe. But I don't think that it's going to be, Harry and Meghan are going to be like a fixation of Trump. At best, maybe he might say a few shady comments or something, and then that'll be it. Because I think it's going to look very stupid on Trump, and not that it's difficult for him to look stupid by himself, to make this any kind of focus. I believe the case of the immigration thing, it was pretty much closed, and there wouldn't be anything worth exposing anyway. It would just look very meek and weak to be targeting 2 citizens, even if it's just, Harry and Meghan. And so I think Harry and Meghan are going to be just fine. I don't think anybody needs to worry just because Trump is president. Connie, you said, are you writing a second book? I think you should. It's something that I've thought about. I did have some kind of idea for a follow-on, but it would be a lot more in the vein of self-help, like like life gems, that kind of thing. Maybe, like, to be honest, I don't really know what would be the best follow-up for this type of book. Maybe you could give me some ideas. I mean, I am writing more books, but not necessarily connected to royal codes. But we'll see. If you want to give me ideas, then I'm all ears. And I hope you're enjoying this one, Connie Balmer. Oh, Kojo, you are catching the live from Ghana. Amazing. Thank you for joining us from Ghana. You said, all I can say is that the world is in trouble. Yeah. We still try to have hope, folks. I think that those of us that are living like now, sometimes we take for granted the safety nets that we've been afforded, especially those of us that live in the West. So I always try to have hope, and it's pretty bleak, but if you don't have hope, then you really just don't have anything. And one way or another, things find a way of self-correcting. You know, everything happens in cycles, and we're just going through this cycle. Izzy, you said Camilla needs to go sit down. We don't want to hear from you. Yeah, exactly. We do not want to hear from Camilla talking about how she is an advocate for abused women. Please, please. Totally, you said, how to send a Trump photo without opening a can of A double snakes should be the next title of your book. I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad book at all. I don't think it would be the sequel to Royal Codes, but it's definitely a book that somebody could write. I remember years ago, I had someone leaving from our company, and somebody got them this book, and it was like a book of Trump's silliest things that Trump's ever said. So I think there's definitely a market for these type of books. You are right. It just won't be the sequel to Royal Codes. But thank you, Church Nelly. All right. Was there anything else that I want to say? No, I think that is all. Please take a moment to memorize your parasites. We will be having a science exam on Monday. So please know your ticks and mites from your royal family members. I will be quizzing everyone. And if you don't know them all off by heart, I will unsubscribe you from this channel. Let's see if anybody else left some comments. All right. Donna, you said that's Steve Irwin's son standing next to William. I didn't even realize. Thank you for letting us know. So they flew Steve Irwin's son. Does he live in Australia? They flew him over from Australia. They flew all the others over from the US. Oh, and by the way, this is another thing. Before I go, this is another thing that gets me about Earthworm. If it was Harry and Meghan, we would have been given regular updates about how the previous winners are doing, how their projects are progressing. I don't even know if they've been given all of the money, because they were meant to be given the money in small payments or something, right? No follow-up at all. And we know all the celebrities that were on the red carpet. I don't even know who the Earthworm winners are or what it is that they're meant to be doing. Like, I still follow Sophia Noble, who was the recipient of the first round of money that Harry and Meghan gave to the NAACP. I still follow her and her work. It's very fascinating. I don't know anyone who is involved in Earthworm. All I know is the celebrities that showed up. All right. I'm going to end things there. Thank you so much for coming along. You are always amazing. And enjoy your weekend. As Meghan would say, good vibes only. And let's dance our way out. Ciao, everybody.